Hello, and welcome to our show for the love of animals. All you animal lovers, particularly cat and dog lovers, hover around because we've got a great show for you. I'm Darlene Pigford with Angie. Excuse me.
And I'm Greg Bauer, and our friend Wicked is back with us today. In fact, both of them are. And I want to tell our viewers, Darlene, about a couple of upcoming shows.
Okay, Greg.
One on that we're going to be very close to this one, but bringing Kitty home.
Oh.
What do you do when you bring a cat home and introduce it to a household where there are pets? And so I think
other cats or dogs. Ooh, that sounds like a good show, upcoming show, Greg.
And then also one on hunting dogs.
Oh boy, that would be a favorite around Paducah, Kentucky.
That's for sure. So what do we got on tap today, Darlene?
Well, we have a great show today, Greg. We have a cat enthusiast, and we're going to be talking about cat behavior and centering on 3 common cat problems.
Only 3?
Only 3 for this show.
That's all we have time for.
Oh, that's all we have. The 3 most important, the 3 that would perhaps are the reasons why a cat is returned if it's adopted. The 3 most common problems. Okay?
Well, and our guest to help us today talk about these situations is Donna Groves.
Hi.
Many of you know Donna from here in the local area, and then know she's a cat enthusiast. And Donna, thank you so much for taking time out this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
We're so glad that you were here. So, well, we'll start off, Donna. Tell us about your fur family.
My fur family?
Yes.
Well, let's see. I have several of what I like to call handy cats. I have a deaf cat, Snowball, who's white with blue eyes. And I have Riley, his housemate, who is one-eyed. And I have Stevie, who has about 20% of his vision is all. I have Herbie, who has 3 legs. He was hit by a car when he was a kitten and was taken into Project Hope, where I used to volunteer a lot. And let's see, I have Hobbit, and that's my 5 kitties.
Wow.
And I'm about to expand because I'm about to get married, so then I'll have Kitty Boy and K-Cat and Smokey.
Oh my heavens.
What a wonderful household.
Yes.
Well, speaking of that, Angie Girl here, who is kind of our mascot, got hit by a car and she lost a leg and she lost an eye. But let me tell you something, there's nothing handicapped about her. She kind of rules the roost around our brood, and even Wicket gets out of her way at times. Well, Donna, what 3 problems do you think are the hardest, or the ones that have caused the most problems for new cat owners?
Well, we've talked a lot about, you and I have talked a lot about litter box problems.
Okay, we'll talk about that. And what's the second one?
Oh, I didn't know you were going to ask me that way. What do we talk? The scratching behavior when they tear up the furniture.
Right.
That is a terrible problem.
Yes, yes. And this one we had to work around with this one. And then also we think that aggression in cats.
Aggression, yes, especially misplaced aggression. They may see something outside the window and then beat up the cat inside the house, or beat up you inside the house.
Right. Now, in other words, it's redirected. It's not at the direct object. So. Well, I do know that litter box is probably the most common problems, and is a reason that the cats are returned to shelters and all. So
we see that a lot.
Okay, let's get started. We want to reference that we'll be using the material from Pamela Johnson Bennett's Twisted Whiskers as our guideline. So
and also her book, Think Like a Cat.
Think Like a Cat, yes. So we'll tell you more about those later. So, okay, Donna. Litter box.
Litter box.
Okay.
I know I've had that problem. At different times in a cat's life, they just seem to stop using the litter box.
Okay.
And you've got to think like a cat. That's one of her books.
That's right, exactly.
You really have to get down at their level and think about things. Well, the reason that you're doing things with the litter box may seem like the reason to do it, make it smell better. Put it in this room because it's intelligent to have it out of the way. But it's doing it it's not working for the cat. You're making it to where it smells, to where she can't smell her urination, and she wants to be able to tell that this is where I've gone and to cover it up.
Right.
Well, if she can't smell that because it's got such a strong deodorizer in it, she's not going to use it.
Okay, so in other words, when we clean a kitty pan, we want to be sure we don't use extra strong.
Extra strong.
Particularly excess Clorox.
Or the scented litters, sometimes they can cause a problem even. The best thing to get is an unscented litter. Something along those lines. You don't want to use the overly strong, it's particularly anything with bleach.
Yeah.
Bleach and kitty urine do not mix.
No, and ammonia. You don't want to ever clean with ammonia.
No, you
like
don't.
I did at one time.
Not a good idea.
Well, I guess what you're saying is keeping the litter pan clean on a daily basis, if not more.
And another problem is that we don't clean it often enough. We're cleaning it often enough for us, but we're not cleaning it often enough for them.
I agree 100% on that.
So on average, probably once a day anyway?
But there are kitties that want it cleaned every time they use it, you know, extremely fastidious kitties that think if I've used it, I want a new pan, you know.
There's also the problem too with multiple cats using the same litter box.
And some of them don't want to use it if another kitty's been in there. So the rule is you need to have as many kitty litter pans as you have kitties.
And they say plus one.
Plus one, actually.
Yeah, I mean, so, okay, where should this kitty pan be placed?
Yeah, that's a good question, because we think out of the way. And a lot of the time when we say out of the way, we put it in a laundry room where that machine makes all that noise.
That's
and if
true.
that happens...
Or in the garage.
Or in the garage, you know, at a time when you're in, that cat's in that moment of privacy and suddenly some machine starts up and makes a terrible noise and frightens them, they don't want to go back. And it can cause all sorts of problems. Or in the bathroom, and suddenly, you know, it gets really humid in there when you're taking a shower and the kitty thinks, well, I don't want to go back in there. So you've got to think these things through. If you think like a cat, you can usually figure out what has happened, what has changed, and moving the litter box around. A lot of time one family member will say, you know what, I think we should put it over here. And the cat goes, look, you move it there, but I'm going right here because that's where the litter box was last week, that's where it has been, and that's where I'm going.
Oh, okay. Well, Greg,
is there a particular kind of, we've talked a little bit about litter, but basically the unscented litter is probably the best?
Probably the best.
Or whatever your cat likes.
Whatever your cat likes. There was even the suggestion in one of Pamela Johnson Bennett's books was if you have a cat that's particularly, you know, having a problem, to put out a couple of litters in different pans and decide which one they go to. She can help you, you know, to decide, well, your kitty likes this one because that's the one she's going to. Find out what your kitty likes best.
And stick with it.
And stick with it.
And the other thing, too, is to try to put the litter boxes in an area not necessarily where they eat.
Right.
And keep those separate.
Cats do not eat where they defecate or urinate. And they want to be totally separate. After all, we want to do that. You don't have your toilet and your kitchen in the same place, right?
No, absolutely not.
And they don't want that to happen. So when you put them in the same place and you're thinking, oh great, this is the cat area, the cat's going, no. And he can't move where his food is, but he can move where he goes to the bathroom.
Exactly.
And he will.
Oh, yes.
We're really getting a good start with the litter box and so on, but it's time to take a short break and listen to one happy tale about Stevie. This is one of the cats that Donna mentioned a little bit ago, and this a little more detail. So give a listen. I think you'll enjoy it.
Stevie was just a small kitten when some nice people found him and brought him to Project Hope. He had a horrible eye infection that left him nearly blind, but he doesn't let that bother him or stop him from doing anything he wants to do. His favorite thing to do is play fetch with a toy mouse, of course. He's much better at it when the mouse has a bell inside so he can hear where it lands. He enjoys playing with the other cats in the house, and he's a real lap cat with his mom. He knows he's got a really good thing.
Welcome back. We know you enjoyed that little story about Stevie, and we've got some other wonderful tales throughout the rest of the program for you to hear about too. Well, Donna, let's go back to the litter box problem for a minute. If the cat is having a problem with the litter box, might there be something
actually, we should have touched on this first. There might be a problem medically. That's probably the thing you should rule out first, particularly if the cat is yelling when they're in the pan, if they're not coming out with a lot of urine, if there's blood in the urine, or if there's blood in the stool. These can be very serious problems that need to be checked by your veterinarian as soon as possible. I mean, ASAP. You need to take the cat to the vet. They can't say, hey, Mom, I'm not feeling good. You have to figure this out to begin with. And that's a really keen insight there.
Yeah.
We just had this happen in our household to our oldest cat. Greg noticed he was yelling, and he had had a mistake or two, and she took him to the vet. Not only did he have have a urinary tract infection, she had high blood pressure. Of course, she's an elderly cat, but still, you know, she's going to be well taken care of.
Right.
So.
And they can get crystals that block the urinary tract, and within a matter of hours, they can die if not treated, you know. It's certainly nothing to put off for a day or two, or until the weekend, or next week I'll take care of it. No, this is a problem that needs to be dealt with now.
Well, one of the problems that cats can have with certain foods, particularly wet foods, because it has magnesium in it. And magnesium, as I understand, can cause a cat urinary tract to block. And so that's something you need to watch your...
On your canned foods, you need to look at how much ash is in it and how much magnesium is in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
In our particular case, we prefer actually
we do the dry. In a multi-cat household, it's so much easier.
It is.
Yeah.
So in other words, in summary, we kind of need to remember that it's important to the cat where it's placed, not to change it.
And they're never doing it just to spite you. Although
no, that is true.
That way. Although it may seem that way, and we tend to think that. But if you think like a cat, as Pamela Bennett Johnson says there, that's not what it's all about. You've got to figure out what that is that they're trying to tell you, but it's never, I don't like this, you know, or I don't like you, and this is what I'm doing. It's not that. There's a reason, but that's not it.
Yeah. And you can buy all of these expensive deodorizers and everything, but there's nothing better than good old baking soda.
Exactly.
And it's inexpensive, and you can mix it in, after you've cleaned, you can just mix it with the litter, and it does not hurt anything, and it freshens.
It freshens and doesn't over deodorize.
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
and just, if you just think about it for a minute, think about yourself as a human. What would you like? And what wouldn't you like? Well, the cat's the same way.
And so it's important for, you know, when you do have a cat, is to make sure that the litter box is clean and it's in the proper place. Particularly, I was thinking about upstairs and downstairs.
Right. If you have 2 floors on your house, you should have one for each floor that the cat goes on. And don't expect the cat, if the cat's always and the family's always on the ground floor, to put the litter box upstairs, but expect the cat to go upstairs when no one else goes upstairs. It's probably not going to do that.
So, and we have a guest bedroom and guest bath. Well, we never put anything. It's convenient because it's not being used all the time, but then you'd have to change it. So we do not put any kitty pan in those areas. So when we do have company, you know, they don't have to worry about it, and then we haven't changed the kitty pan area. So
because that could be problems.
Oh, it can be big problems. They do not like their routine upset in any way.
No.
Very serious. So
they're creatures of habit.
Okay. All right. You ready to tackle the second problem?
Sure.
Okay. Scratching our furniture.
Scratching our furniture.
I know cats right now that are delegated to the basement because they do not want their upstairs furniture scratched.
And again, the thing to remember is they are not doing it because they do not like you. That's not the reason they're scratching your furniture.
No.
It's because you haven't given them the better alternative. And really, that's the idea. When you find that they are scratching your furniture, in thinking like a cat, you have to find a better alternative for them to use. One of the reasons that they don't use the scratching post that you give them is that it's not the right material. A lot of the scratching posts that are sold are too plush, and the cats can't.
And they're carpet.
And they're carpet.
Carpet-like, yes.
They can't get their claws extended deep enough to be able to pull the sheaths off when they're dead. That's what they want. They want to be able to stick their claws deep enough into it to get them extended. They're also not tall enough. They want the trees to be tall enough that they can extend and arch their backs.
Yes.
So we think horizontally with furniture.
Yes.
Cats think vertically.
Absolutely.
They want them to be tall. They like, is it sisal? The material rather than carpet.
It's that thick rope-like stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's at least 1/4 inch rope.
Right.
I don't
diameter.
know. It's not the slick rope, but the jute type. I don't know the exact.
That sort of thing.
But if you'll give them the proper alternative, they will go for that rather than your furniture. And it doesn't have to be relegating them to a garage or a basement. You can live in perfect harmony and your couch not end up being the scratching post. If you give them the proper scratching post, they will go for that.
And where would you place it? Near where they have been scratching, or the scratching post?
I would put it near where they've been scratching, not exactly close to it, but in the same general area, but apart from it. Would you?
Yeah, and then probably, if you could, I'd like to probably get it out of my living room area. But it takes a while.
Yeah, you can move it a little bit at a time, you know.
This one has gone through about 4 scratching posts in our house. I mean, the big kind that you're talking about. You ought to
shreds them.
She shreds them, and then the other cats go and go and use them also. But this one, boy, she.
That's odd because my 3-legged cat is also the one who is the most likely to use the cat post.
And do it vigorously. I mean, in fact, the last one, I had one that was 3 feet tall. Now I think I got a 4-foot one. And I'm beginning to see the rope come off just a little bit already.
I have a 6-foot one. And,
you do?
And it has a little house on the top. And he likes to get in the house at the top. And because it holds him up, so he doesn't fall over.
Well, I've heard, how about the use of contact paper, like if they're really shredding an area on my couch?
That can help to deter them, I have heard.
Yeah, you'd get contact paper and cut it and cover it, and because they don't like smooth surfaces.
They do not like smooth surfaces. Wax paper.
That would be a good alternative.
Would be a good alternative. Do not use aluminum foil because it can come off in little pieces, and they can swallow it, and on the way in, as it goes down,
they could ingest it.
When they ingest it, it can cause all sorts of problems internally.
Okay, that's a very good point. So, all right, Angie, you hear that? Okay. No scratching on Mama's living room. Use your scratching post, okay? No, she's been very good about it. When we both attended to it, got the scratching post and put them when we found her scratching, in a particular area. So she's done real well.
Good.
So,
good girl.
So.
Well, that's the second problem we've at least gotten some solutions to, and we're going to come to a major one in the next part of our show.
Okay.
But for right now, let's take a quick break and listen to another happy tale about Herbie, another one of Donna's cats. Give a listen. You'll enjoy this one too.
This is a happy tale about Herbie. If you can see him playing or running, you might not even notice at first, but he has only 3 legs. He got hit by a car when he was just a young cat, and someone took him to the Lonoke Animal Clinic. The doctors there called Project Hope and asked if they would help save him. They said yes, and well, here he is. His leg couldn't be saved, but who needs 4 legs anyway? His favorite game is chasing that red laser dot. He hasn't caught it yet, but one day.
Welcome back. We know that you're enjoying the show this afternoon, and if you're just joining us, for some unknown reason, you've missed out on a lot of good information. Right. We have with us Donna Groves this afternoon, who is from here in Paducah and is a cat enthusiast. And Darlene, where you and Donna have been mentioning a couple of books and so on, can we get a little more detail about where people might be able to get some help on these?
Yes, Donna brought the Twisted Whiskers by Pamela Johnson Bennett is the book that some of our ideas are coming from. Pamela Johnson Bennett also is the author of Think Like a Cat. She is a feline behaviorist in Nashville, Tennessee. So she has more books out. One is Psycho Kitty, which I think is really cute. It's about her encounters in, solving feline behavioral problems. But these are the two books that are available, and I know that Twisted Whiskers is available at the McCracken County Public Library. So I encourage you to, read the book, because there's far more information than we're able to even, give you.
And for some of our viewers that are watching us on the web who may be living in other cities that are not close to Paducah, check with your local libraries and see if they might have it or might be willing to get it for you, because
you always go to Amazon.
And Think Like a Cat is on Kindle, so you can get that.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
okay. All right.
High technology has come to us. Well, Donna, the third problem is aggression.
Right.
And that's probably one thing that we know less about than anything else.
Yes, yes.
So where should we start with aggression?
Well, first thing is to figure out what's causing it, because sometimes it may be the trigger may have happened an hour or two ago, and you can't figure it out. You have to decide, is there a cat that's visiting in the yard and that's what's making, a problem? Why your cat is reacting badly and smacking your other cat, or smacking you.
And that would probably be because cats are very territorial.
They are very territorial, and they don't like someone, even if they don't go outside.
It could be a dog or a cat,
or a cat,
even a person.
Even a person. They don't want somebody in their yard. Even if they don't go in that yard, they know it's theirs.
They don't want to have an intrusion.
So it may be as simple as blocking their view from that window if there's something that's going on that's going to happen every day. Or if that's not something that you can do, in order to protect the other animal that is being affected by this, you can separate them, and then if you have an ongoing scenario,
right. Daily.
You can separate them and then reintroduce them to where they're not reacting to that trigger.
Okay.
So that helps. As far as other ideas, let's see.
How about food aggression?
Food aggression. They need to have their own places to eat.
Their own bowl.
Their own bowls.
Their own water bowl.
And their own water bowls. Otherwise, you have... you've set yourself up for a disaster there.
Fighting over the food.
You don't want that. And even in a multi-cat household, when they have their own ones, you can sometimes have, no, I want that one.
That's right. Or yours is bigger than mine.
Yeah.
Just like children.
They are.
And just like adults.
Yeah. So you have to kind of ride herd over them that way.
And sometimes it's about who do you feed first. That's they sometimes don't like that. And I know it sounds silly to us, but I guess it's important to them.
Well, and that's the thing that you have to keep in mind, that they aren't adults. They aren't humans like we are.
Right.
They have their own little peculiarities and sensitivities, and the more that you can attune to those, the more successful the cat's life with you will be.
Right.
And
now,
more pleasant for you.
On a personal note, I have a deaf cat who is aggressive.
Okay.
With everybody, we thought. He had been at the shelter for 2 years before I adopted him. And every cat that he met, he just wanted to rip their heads off. So I put him in his own room, and that's how I expected him to live out his life. But at some point, I had brought home an injured kitten, and he was just, oh, how neat, a kitten. And
he just bonded with that.
He bonded with that kitten. But it occurred to me that he reacted that way with every kitten. As long as he knew the kitten, and then as it got older, it was fine. So he now lives with 3 cats that he has known since kittens.
Okay.
So it wasn't that he reacted that way with every cat. It was only every cat that he hadn't known since they were a kitten. So I was under the misunderstanding that he was going to live out his life in isolation.
Right, yeah.
And it didn't turn out that way. So that was a good story that I didn't expect to turn out that way.
Well, that's wonderful to hear.
And in this particular cat, you found a couple of techniques to keep him from being scared, because when he was scared, he became aggressive.
Right.
What did you do for Snowball?
With Snowball, there's actually a deaf cat's website, because most white cats with blue eyes are deaf.
Okay.
And so there's a deaf cat's website, and we exchange ideas on that. And people will tell you that some of the ways that we go about keeping from startling them is when they're asleep, flick the lights on and off so that they don't startle. Or if they're looking the opposite direction, stomp on the floor so that they feel the vibration, and then they'll turn and look at you, and it won't startle them.
You get their attention.
You get their attention.
And if our viewers are interested in more of this, you can see Donna's handicaps that we did a while back.
We did.
Yes, we did. Well, Donna, in summary about our three, in case somebody missed, in summary, briefly, review our three problems and comment on their solution.
Real quickly.
Very
quickly. We don't run out of time.
Our three problems were litter boxes, scratching the furniture, and then aggression.
Yeah, all chapters in this book.
All chapters in both of the books, actually.
Yes.
And you don't want to give up on the cat for any of those. I think they're all solvable problems in most every case. There may be just a tiny fraction that can't be solved at all.
The cat's not being mean.
The cat's not being mean. He's not doing it just because he hates you. He's trying to tell you something, and you have to be the detective and find out what it is.
Yes, it is. So.
And a lot of common sense goes a long way. Unfortunately, we're running out of time.
Oh, I know. We just get started and we have to stop. So.
Donna, we'd like to thank you so much for coming
I appreciate
with
you
us this
having me.
afternoon and sharing some of your good expertise and ideas. And, well, Darlene, I guess we'll have to just go
I know.
Start thinking again. So
absolutely.
In closing, I'm Greg.
I'm Darlene.
And we want our viewers to remember what we tell you every time. Give your pet a little extra love today and every day. See you next time.
Bye.